Hello, I'm Charlene of the Rainbow Frequency, and today I'm going live for the 1212 portal, which also happens to align with honoring Mother Mary, or it's on the calendar I discovered Our Lady Guadalupe feast day. So all this goes to me in the direction of honoring the divine feminine, the divine mother, however it is that you perceive this energy. Energy knows no bounds, and personally, the divine feminine appears to us in many different ways. She knows no bounds. So I don't like to limit how we perceive much of anything. So, portals or portal days on the calendar are basically, in my belief, it's where the cosmos and Earth align, and it helps shift us through the energies available forward. A lot of times it can give us periods where we have some deep reflection within. I'm not going to wave at everybody, but if you comment, I'll try to be a liminal being in the best of ways and go in and out of trying to talk to you and give you the message I want to give you, as well as interact a bit as well. But it's hard to do it all, and the writing is tiny. Anyway, these periods help us grow, help us shift forward in our consciousness in a myriad of ways. You know, a lot of times we expect things to be very linear, and it's not. I mean, it's that ripple effect. It's dominoes tipping forward in multiple directions, you know, because you take one action and it's a chain of events. You know, life isn't always tidy and neat, is it? But, you know, eclipses or these portal days are these sideways elevators or divine intervention or ways that the universe redirects us however you want to look at it. And for better or for worse, you got to deal with it and work with it, however it is that you perceive and allow for that. But I'm here to channel information and give you some of the insights that I've received and try to help as best I can in navigating the chaos, because it can feel chaotic. It can feel exhausting. Recently, I had said that I felt really flat. And it did feel kind of depressing. It did. It was heavy. You know, I personally have gone through some serious breakthroughs in my own life and healing from the past. So it's been a process, a journey. But, you know, I was saying, like, I feel really flat, you know, and really I just wanted to go outside and lie on the ground. And I eventually, once it wasn't so cold and wet, I was able to, and it felt great. But I realized in my research, you know, the Schumann resonance had spiked. And when we have all this galactic, the Earth has its own electromagnetic field, yes? And so does the cosmos. So when that is spiking and coming into us, and they're starting to study how that affects us as humans, these solar flares, the Schumann resonance, as well as the moon and all the other things out there, have impact on our energy fields. And when the Schumann resonance spikes, or we have downloads or all of that coming into the earth, we feel that pressure in various ways. It can give us physical symptoms as well as have those breakthroughs of consciousness, yada, yada, yada. It's myriad of things. So it's important to have that discernment where you can, okay, I feel this. Is it me? Is it the effects of what's externally coming through and how I'm processing it? You know, understanding is half the battle, I think, in my world. But I really like unpacking things. So, anywho, hello, people that have joined. I'm waving at you, even though I'm not waving at you, by clicking on the wave buttons. But I'm going to do a reading where we tap into this energy of where we are and how it's going to help us. It's kind of like having a map with insight and some keys and clues. And then basically the whole point of divination, or what I do, is to reflect back to you what you already know for yourself so that it builds, you know? And that's how it can be a collective message. We have our consciousness, we have our subconsciousness, we have the superconsciousness, and a lot of levels in between. One could argue that people with these esoteric, metaphysical, spiritual gifts have the ability to connect to the superconsciousness, which we all can do. It's just some of us can get there easier than others, perhaps. Or I don't know. It's that in and of itself is its own rabbit hole of conversation. I personally think that everyone can do this. It takes discipline, and maybe some people have a jump start where others may not, but it's all about allowance and belief in yourself and unpacking and understanding how and what you do so that you can understand and work with it, right? Recently, I learned some people have an inner dialogue and some people don't. I have an inner dialogue, so it's really hard for me to understand how someone might not. And that's not to shame somebody that doesn't, but my brain, like, that breaks my brain. Like, that is such a vital part of how I navigate the world. It's hard to really comprehend not having it, but I suppose that's where people who do have it can help people maybe cultivate it in the future. We'll see. I hope so, because I want everyone to succeed and have their skill sets available to them. Then here I feel like the babbling stream of consciousness. You know, it's a lot to manage because there's so much I want to give. But, you know, and it's really funny. I went to the river and I wanted to learn how to speak to the river, you know, like Buddha. And I'm sitting there trying to hold conversation with the river. And then, by accident, by luck, it's not that I began to speak to the river. I felt at one with the river, as though I were a river. So again, it's that being willing to dive in and then allow for what you discover and work with it as you're designed to. All right, so let's get down to brass tacks. let's dive in and stop babbling, waxing poetic on stream of consciousness. But, I'll finish that thought. So many thoughts. So, through prayer, through chanting, through meditation, various ways, dancing, making art, music, one can get to that super consciousness. So try to get there for yourself. Personally, I don't necessarily need to take things to get there because my imagination is mind-blowing enough, and I really like unpacking and understanding. So try on your own without recreational support, perhaps, is my motherly advice. Just saying. You can frown all you want to, I guess, but we each have our own message and what we're here. I have a very strong motherly, as a mother myself, and in and out of energetic and life for real. All right, so first we're going to go to the bone casting bag that I've created and see what we have there. So it is my intention to help the collective in the highest good of all involved in ways that delight mind, body, and spirit with the essence of love that is out there to support everyone in all ways, shapes, and forms, every direction, every which way, in time, space. I don't like to limit, so let's be accessible to all that's here to help us in that energy. One more. Oh, yeah. All right. We all, if we've been here before, know I like it as tidy as possible because it helps everything best. We got coral. To me, coral connotates, symbolizes, speaks of to ecosystem and networking, and it's a living organism that has great structure. One could argue that there's a lot of competition there, but I mean, sure, there could be, but if you get past the ego and the negative senses of it and work to cultivate the network of support that is around, then that's the beauty way, right? When I learned that nature, the tree root systems all connect and communicate with the various trees to speak to one another, and then it extends all throughout the plant kingdom and the insect kingdom, where they communicate with one another to support. That blows my mind, makes my heart just swell with like, holy mother of all that is out there. That is flippin', I'm trying not to curse. Why am I holding back? That's fucking amazing, right? I mean, it just is. It just is. And when you look at that, how can you not believe in a greater orchestration that is far more genius than we could allow for in our own little mind? And that's where it's important to connect with more than just yourself, and whatever way you get there, running, body bench, or what is it, weightlifting, walking. Monks sweep to get there. I do dishes sometimes. I've said this many times, right? I feel I'm just this like person that repeats themselves over and over, but gotta get it in to as many people. There's so many ways to get there. Cooking, gardening, singing, knitting. When I waited tables, folding napkins. Anyway, get yourself to tap in and listen and hear, and then try to understand. You'll feel like Alice going through the rabbit hole labyrinth. And thank you for getting me to the next very important point. The labyrinth symbol. Look it up. However you get there. Go to the interweb. The labyrinth symbol is prevalent around the world. And why? Because this is my take on it. And watch In Search Of with Leonard Nimoy. So much beautiful, amazing information. And you get to see Leonard Nimoy with a mustache and outside his Spock clothes. So good. But I was watching one episode. I believe it was the one that was unpacking the Holy Grail from a Christian and pagan point of view. And the labyrinth symbol, which is around Glastonbury Tor, it's like this step maze leading to it, is that labyrinth symbol. And it's that in, out, and back again 7 times. And whether you are on a healing journey, recovering from addiction, spiritual awakening, however you want to come at that symbol, however you want to perceive it, it is that dizzying in, out, back again of holy flippin'. And then you get there and you can't give up, right? Just saying, it's not that simple, but it is that simple if you allow it to sink in and be. And it's just that letting yourself be, that's the flippin' freaking, right? All right, so then we have the Moonstone, which is a white labradorite, which has that Mother Mary, moon goddess. They're all the one and the same, right? I mean, no matter where you go, there you are. These energies show up in many ways. Like, who are we to limit how they could be perceived, right? That's the biggest thing. Stop trying to limit it, because at least on my journey, my brain has broken and come back together so many times. And there's just certain clues that if I just allow myself to be open-minded enough, like I kept calling myself a nitwit. And one could think that that would be an insult, and we talk a lot in the spiritual world about being careful about your inner dialogue, because how you speak to yourself, how you value yourself is what you're going to attract. What you think you're worth, what you think you deserve is what you're going to get. Like attracts like. Where you put your energy, where you put your thoughts, that's where it goes, right? There are many ways to think about that. But it's through accepting and loving yourself that you're going to get the best results. I would also lead you to look into Moonstone and Labradorite. It's a beautiful energy. Some people would say not to sleep with it next to your bed because you'll have some wild dreams. That's happened. I forgot and left my necklace there, and whoo, a little bit more than I wanted for an every night kind of thing. But, you know, some of us are more sensitive than others. We all are on a spectrum of sorts. We all have varying degrees of how we're affected, what we work with, what we don't, you know, just saying. But Moonstone is about intuition and leaning in to that inner knowing. And it's when we talk about balancing the masculine and the feminine, the light and the shadow, it's that sinking into yourself, listening to that inner knowing before jumping into action so that you can be proactive instead of reactive. And then we got sea glass. Glass, if we were to find it on the beach, would be bad. It would be dangerous. Not something we'd want, right? But sea glass somehow, in this magical way, transforms over time through refinement, polishing, to this amazingly the words they gave me, amazingly delectable thing. This energy, magic, it's beautiful, however you look at it, whatever you want to call it. Sea glass, it's like finding shells on the beach. You're just like, I don't know, maybe this is just me. I don't think so, but it's very exciting. And that's what alchemy of self is. You know, it's this taking wild and crazy energy that needs to be refined, reflected upon, and worked with to this magical creation of something great. Again, is it that simple? Nah. But sure, why not? Work with yourself. Polish, refine, become that magic in the world. All right, let's go to the Chakra Wisdom Oracle cards. I'll try my best to tell you what I'm working with. Oh, again, it's a lot to manage. Mischief managed, right? All right, so let's see what chakra information they have for us. We're going to draw 3. Ha! Yes. All right. Facade, bittersweet, and quest. All right, when we drop the facade and show the world perhaps our true selves, there may be those who won't like it. And you have to deal with that. You know, everyone is allowed their own opinion, their own path and journey. And sometimes we dial ourselves back to make people comfortable. And then we realize that's really not what we want to do in life. So then we come out and we feel bad. And then we have some negative reaction in the community. You present new art that's like a new direction for yourself, and you're really like jazzed and soulful. And then you have people where you're like, I don't get it. Okay. Like I put myself out on TikTok, which is not my comfort zone. And I put, speaking the truth, it's hard, right? I put my dance out there that's been given to me. And perhaps I didn't really communicate it well, but the dance I keep putting out there, is a dance that came through to me, as was the song that came through from my ancestors. And it's a way for me to present my healing energy to the earth, to the timelines, to you. And it's one of my gifts and ways, blessings that they gave me. However you want to quantify, qualify, articulate that. So this person on TikTok was like, I don't get it. Or like, they're like, I don't understand what this is. And I was just like, all right, one, perhaps I didn't articulate it clearly. Two, maybe I'm not the energy for you if it's not resonating. Because, you know, we all have our ways. We all have what's in us that needs to come out. And it will land with some. It might not with others. You don't take it back. It's yours. It's what you put out there. And you love it because it's what came from your heart and soul to do. So basically, long-winded, like, don't hear some negative feedback and then stop. You know, like when you drop the facade, there'll be some bittersweet moments. But personally, I love dark chocolate. So it's just that, like say you're in a codependent relationship and you want to change that dynamic. And when you start to have boundaries, people who have been taking advantage of or used to how you were previously and enjoyed it are not going to like the new ways that you're presenting how you'd like things to go. Well, you know, it's a worthwhile investment of your energy if they can learn to work with the new you and you manage to navigate it together and recreate of demarcation. You know, there'll be some who won't like it at all and will drop you. So be it. It's bittersweet, but is that you're being your authentic self. You're not holding yourself back for the comfortability of others. You have clear boundaries, and that's love for yourself and others, which has to be equal, reciprocal exchange. Like Aquarian age energy is about balancing the masculine and the feminine. It's about reciprocal exchange, not one dominating another in any way, shape, or form that energy could be perceived. I mean, that's some big picture thinking where I'm like allowing, please apply that to whatever you will, however you can, because energy knows no bounds, nor does love, right? So take that quiet, drop the facades, be your true self. The people who are really, truly for you, that love you, support your growth of self, right? But that's the mother in me that's like, ah, that's how I think. You don't have to. You don't have to. All right, let's go to the goddess energy and see what the goddesses have to say, which I love these cards because pretty much they're all one and the same. Just saying. That's my belief system, at least. I mean, one could argue the opposite, and I allow for that. Like, everyone's allowed their own belief system. Some people like very clear delineations, whereas I like to fuse the web. All right, so we got Hera. Hera is an ancient goddess who, before she appeared as wife to Zeus in Greek mythology, was a powerful matrilineal queen in her own right. Hera is the original, all-powerful, multifunctional goddess responsible for every aspect of existence, a symbol of the complete woman, or human. Let's say human. Or being. We'll say being. Entity. Whatever. Among Greeks, Hera was the goddess of marriage, a special goddess of women who accompanies each woman through every moment of her life. Her various titles point her to roles as a bringer of fertility, goddess of marriage. Again, I think, let's say, the balancing of the masculine and feminine for this case in point. Protector of children, of women during childbirth or birthing a new era, of money, presider over all aspects of public life. She was often represented with a peacock, which is Lakshmi. Many goddesses or energies use the peacock. Kuan Yin, perhaps, I think. Anywho. Symbolic of beauty, luxury, and immortality. The spots on its feathers reflect the starry firmament, and the peacock has knowledge of the weather, reflecting the ancient role of the goddess as bringer of seasons. Hera is a mature vitality and nurturing, a strong image of the queen within, the sovereignty that we all have within us. The yin and the yang. It's all about that balance. All right, we're gonna go to. No, who are we gonna go to? We'll go to the moon. Then we'll go. Yeah. All right, organizing my thoughts. Here we go. Wild Toad's Ride. Disseminating moon. Take time to breathe out. I just posted yesterday a video on the path leading to my house. One of the paths leading to my house that I have. There were feathers, and then I showed my dragons, and I prompted to breathe in, hold it momentarily, and then exhale. Because it's between the breaths that we can have those great thoughts, that we can settle and bring ourselves back into alignment, have discernment. When you see those trees, to me, it's bringing us back to there's that community that surrounds however you wish to perceive it. So when we take that moment to go within, you can connect to what's out there available to you, whether you perceive it as your ancestors, your guides, guardians, spirit, God, whatever, however, your own higher consciousness, whatever. I don't really give a hoot how you want to say it. But when you take that time to really get down to what's there to support you and guide you, that inner moral compass, your inner navigational system, I a lot of times feel like a super processing system that sometimes I have to realize there are too many tabs open. I gotta bring it back down. I gotta reprogram, reboot. There's so many ways that one could feel and comprehend this. But take time to breathe out. Maybe let go Let's take the bottom of the deck. Let go of what you don't need, because let's get back to, like, it's all cycles. We got the end of a tough cycle approaches, full moon in Capricorn. So take time to breathe out, because Holy Mother Mary and all that's out there to support us, it's been hard. It's been a trek and a half. It's been a journey, an arduous one at that. Let it go. Let it go. That which isn't serving your highest good, that which is falling away. Don't resist, because if you resist, you sink, right? Like if you're in a swamp of despair, if you're drowning, the more you thrash about, the faster it's gonna go south in a bad way. So, float. Allow yourself to be that lotus blossom. This is something that in the beginning of all this shit going down, I just like kept going into my bathtub, and the beginning of my meditative process was being a lotus floating in the ocean, knowing that my roots were down and tethered. I was anchored and safe, and I was just floating along with whatever that damn ocean wanted to do, and I'd be okay. Not an easy thing to hold on to, that serenity now, but I'm a determined bitch. Serenity now! Take time to breathe out, because when you do, the end of the tough cycle will approach. It might be a bit bittersweet, because you have to grieve what goes. You do. You have to grieve what falls away. But when you let what doesn't serve your highest good go, when one opens, the energy that will support you or help you get lily padded on your way to what is out there for you. I love that what is in your heart and soul that you seek is also seeking you. So stop settling in every way, shape, and form. Just saying. All right, so this is a special day. So we're going to use something very special, antique tarot cards. My husband found these for me. I forget how old they are, but they're pretty dang old. So on this portal day, let's use them. They're very stiff. They have not been used. So I'm gonna break them into two separate piles so I can. Oh. Oh, and I'm going to say it again. I would wave at all of you, but it would be too much to go in and out that much. So I'm waving to all of you this way. All right, bottom of the deck. Oh, okay. This is going to be hard. I forgot that it's not in English. Eek. All right, let's not fall on the floor, shall we? Now let's just put them all back. And every time I do a video, I remind myself I should really tidy up my work surfaces, but again, who am I to limit what wants to be here with us, right? Okay. Bottom of the deck, we have Valet d'Épée, the Knight of Swords. Okay, so Knight of Swords is, and I'm pretty sure valet is knight. It might be, I don't think it's the page. This is where I want to go and like dig through and find the other one, but I wish someone spoke French and could give me this. What is the valet? Is it the page or is it the knight? Let's feel out. We'll say it's the page, because I feel like it's not quite as action forward per se, but it's getting grounded, getting your mind centered. We have red, blue, and gold that this energy is wearing, which made me giggle because sitting here, I have the heating pad underneath me, which is red. I have a blanket on my lap, which is blue. And then I also have the crystal with me for myself to support me in this, black and gold. Anyway, and then I put them away. Where did they go? I guess I put them away. We had the blue and the gold and the chakra, which, here we go. Let's unpack those. That is the solar plexus chakra. That is the throat chakra. Red is the root chakra, which is to say, red in the base or root chakra is our sense of security, stability, how we connect to the earth, so to speak, and ancestors. There's a lot there, so we won't go on and on and on. But gold, yellow, the solar plexus, how we value ourselves, our sense of self, our confidence, our soul purpose. And then blue is our throat chakra, how we communicate, our voice, our truth, our authenticity. And a lot of times, if our heart chakra is sick or blocked or has any issues, it goes into the throat chakra and causes issues there as well. So this is getting your thoughts together. It can speak of communication coming in. So again, sometimes if you take that moment to breathe and have that inward reflection and information, or allow for, before you rush into action, you allow for things to come to you before you dash willy-nilly, right? Okay, so then we got the Seven of Swords is where we are. This is an energy of, one could say, discernment is needed. You should conserve your energy before dashing into things. There could be deceptions revealed. So basically, before you dash, before you take action, pause and reflect, use your discernment, feel it out, really make sure that it's a balanced, in reality and truth decision, because you could be cutting through misinformation, you could be cutting through mistruths, or you could just simply be in a period where you should use your discernment and conserve your energy before moving forward. So that like if there's a shitstorm happening around, sometimes you just sit and watch it all happen, let it all fall into place, and then when you know all the truth, you move forward. All right. Valet de denier. The page of coins. Pretty happy, fun things along your paths. Yeah, I like that. Yes, very much. White Jennifer J. So Valet de denier. Page of coins. Because again, I think the knight would have a horse, and they'd be more like, this isn't action. This is I'm sitting with it before I'm going to take the action. To me, it's being grounded before you take the action, because they both have, their feet on the ground. And a lot of times I think of the page stage is like you're dreaming it in. You're waiting for the consciousness to come in before you move. So the obstacle is that it's a slow and steady progress. Again, like it's with the coin energy, we're moving from balancing our minds to then put it into the material or the action stage of progress. And sometimes you get really excited and you want it to go. And this is something where one step, think it through, take the action. Slow and steady wins the race, right? So when you are going through your discernment and conserving your energy to make your battle plan or whatever, however you want to say that, then you take your step and you see the results of action, and then you proceed again. Because you have 3 of Wands is the advice from Spirit. And that's that manifestation. So for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction, perhaps. So if you go too quickly, if you rush the process, you might miss vital parts and pieces along the way. So really take the time. Take the time to go slow and breathe out so that you can really see what's happening in the physical world around you, to then properly work your way forward into, out of the 2 begets the 3, or 3 is a number of manifestation. It's that you plus, one could say spirit, one could say the cosmos, together orchestrate what actually comes into reality. So it's keeping all of that in mind and not just going through the motions, not fully self-aware and aware of the environment you're in, right? Because then we have the 8 of coins. And the 8 of coins is working towards something that's in your heart and soul to produce, that's gonna lead to your legacy, so to speak, because the 10 of coins is speaking of the legacy that you leave behind in one way of thinking of it. This is tarot is all about progression through stages in a very simplistic journey. This energy's there regardless. So by coming to it clear-headed and seeing what's happening, big picture, you can apply it for yourself as needed. So, what is it that you want to be producing that will lead you towards that inner fulfillment that you want on your deathbed to be proud of? Just saying. Just saying. I mean, if, big if, because personally, I do believe in reincarnation because energy cannot be created nor destroyed. That also can be done in the most stupendous, miraculous, divine ways. And we don't really, I think it's egotistical for us to sometimes act like we know exactly what's happening, because I mean, even myself have gotten irritated on my path of like, why on earth do I have to go in front of all you people singing and dancing? It's embarrassing. And then I realized, you're a genius. It's memorable. People will stop and listen, and maybe they'll actually pick something up. Here's hoping, because I just want to help support you. I really do. Because when I was lost and terribly afraid, this is how they were able to reach me. So here I give it to you. It kept me from sinking. So here's hoping I help you. Okay, so warrior woman, have you answered your deepest calling? I mean, I can't make this stuff up either, right? Like, I had so much skepticism in me where I was just like, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't believe in anything, but I don't disbelieve in anything, was where I landed for a long time. But when you pull this many cards and it keeps repeating the message through, and you see me shuffling, statistically, and if you actually know the cards, I mean, there's multiple interpretations of the cards, and people have their perceptions, sure. But core energies of these cards, I'm not making it up. Now, you know, the bone casting, that is me reading objects, which is a different thing. But have you answered your deepest calling? I mean, back to back. And again, take out woman. We as individuals, X, Y, Z chromosomes, we're all energy. I mean, personally, I get to the point where, like, who am I to think I'm better than a bookshelf? Who am I to think I'm better than a lamp? I mean, I will be honest, when I realized that dust doesn't leave the atmosphere, it stays here. There's some respect I have now for dust and who and what and all that it could be, you know, which is a little too much heart, you know, one should dust. But at the same time, it's just like heart expansion of like, whoa. It's just, we're all one. It's all miraculous. We should have love and respect for ourselves as much as our surrounding environment. And you were divinely made, orchestrated, designed. You have unique capabilities, talents, things within you to be created and birthed that if you hold them back, that's really not only doing a disservice to yourself, but to the environment, the world in which you're here to be a part of. You know, I, for a long time, held back a lot of what I thought people would shun or think was too out there, or I was crazy. I mean, in my young life, I had somebody in my chair once as a hairstylist, like, do you want to know the word on the street about you? I was like, sure. And they're like, I heard you're crazy. And I was like, well, who said it? All right, well, I mean, here's the cock calling the kettle black, man. I mean, whatever. You know, who's to judge? I don't care. You know, it's just that, like, having to, like, sure, someone might think I'm crazy. And actually, I giggle now because one would kind of think I was a little out there given what I'm doing. It's not exactly the straight sort of laced up person necessarily that's gonna funnel that to you. Answered your deepest calling. I'm gonna read you this card and then we'll wrap it up. I have one more card to do. Warrior woman. All right. You are here for a reason. You are being called to bravely pave a path. Have you answered your highest and deepest calling? Living a heart and soul led life is not all fluffy and smooth sailing. Living a heart and soul led life requires courage to triumph over fear. So often our fears are the gatekeepers to our greatest gifts, and the more resistance we have towards answering a call, the more important it is to our soul's growth. Sometimes fear is an indication that we are facing the right way. Joan of Arc was known for her courage and her famous line, "I'm not afraid. I was born to do this." But the thing about courage is that it's not possible without fear. So if you are feeling afraid, what is needed is courage. And courage comes from living from the heart. Think of your fears as opportunities rather than things that are holding you hostage. We're our own personal jailers. I'm just saying. If you look at your fears in this light, then as uncomfortable as it might feel, it's actually a sign that you're on the right track. Seriously, as up until a couple years ago, the two things that scared the ever-loving crap out of me, I couldn't watch movies, I didn't like it, ghosts and aliens. I wouldn't, like, my husband would try to talk to me about supernatural things and I would shut him down, like, oh, we're not talking about ghosts? Absolutely not. Like, hard stop. And then it was the fear. And I'm not saying that you should, like, cuddle with rattlesnakes or do things that are risky, truly risky. No. But sometimes if we have fear or a rejection of something, it's where we have to lean into that shadow work or soul reflection or however you want to call it and think on the why. Or, you know, like a lot of one could say, like, these things could be past life clues or, you know what I mean? Like, there's just so much to unpack and process. And you really, the more you realize you're here to learn and grow, so be self-aware, dig in, because if you got one life to live, carpe diem, go get 'em tigers, let's do this shit, we're in it to win it. What is your deepest calling? Take the little horse blinders off, expand the consciousness. You're not here to be in a little box or sheeple. Let's do one more and then we'll wrap it up because I got other fish to fry. I mean, I will say, going down this path, there are people out in my community that I am, oh well, there are a lot of people in the world, right? So just saying, I mean, not in a negative, mean way. I wish everyone the best, utmost success, and you're thriving and flourishing. Other people might have other, you know what I mean? We can't be for everyone. And when we try to be for everyone, sometimes that's when we drown. Deep replenishment, retreat, rest, and be held. All right, let's read that one too. I'll show it to you. And look how beautiful this is. You are your own temple. Go into the temple. Go home to yourself. Find that wholeness within. You know, sometimes it is good to meet with somebody that can help you sink into yourself more, to help you further along. You know, like having someone help you doesn't make it any less yours. I mean, that's okay. Reiki means universal life force energy. When I say I'm a shamanic Reiki practitioner, what does that mean? I tap into the universal energies abound, and then through guided meditation or conversation or through a card reading, I guide you on a journey to heal yourself. You heal yourself. I'm just a supporter, a friend, a guide, an oracle. I often joke I'm just the messenger. You know, like I don't control what comes necessarily. I just have to be brave enough to say it out loud. Okay, so deep replenishment. And trust what comes through. I mean, I had one guy tell me that he was suffering from sciatica. I hope he doesn't mind if he watches this that I'm using this, but I don't think he will. But he was suffering from sciatica. I was like, I think it's a neck issue that's really the culprit. And we talked about the neck injury that he in fact had and what went with all of that and the emotional part. And that was what we unpacked together. And then, I mean, that you do your work. I'm just the one that's like, chew on that. Just saying. Just saying. And then they listen if they want to. And then, yeah. All right, so deep replenishment, retreat, rest, be held. The most selfless thing you can do is fill up your own inner well. I say this all the time. You cannot serve others from a dirty cup. You can't heal others if you don't fill your own cup first. Self-care is vital. It's responsible. Just saying. So mom bossy today. Thank you, Marys. Okay. When we're running around half filled, we subconsciously look to the things and people around us to give nourishment and nurturing so that we so deeply crave. I was just speaking about this with my husband this morning. Like, people always look externally to be fulfilled. You know, why do so many relationships fail? Because we're looking for that person to fulfill us, to make us whole. And that's insane responsibility and expectation. And it's not going to work. You have to love yourself first. You have to value yourself first. Then you merge and help each other grow, right? That's to me the point, hopefully. And an ideal change. Nothing can grow in barren lands. You are no good to anyone if you're running on empty. The feminine is bountiful, fertile, and rich. Tend to your own well, and watch as the amount you have to give multiplies. If your inner well isn't full, you will find yourself craving things from the outside world to fulfill it. This is our body's instinctive way of reaching for the grounding and nurturing that we're not allowing ourselves. What nourishes you? What fills your body? What is the nectar for your soul? What brings you back to life? What is your secret medicine? What makes you feel abundant and fertile, overspilling with life? It may be gardening, arranging flowers, getting a massage. We went through this, right? Making your favorite coffee, reading, researching, goes on and on and on, right? What nourishes you is your medicine. When you give yourself the medicine you need to be nourished, you nourish all those around you, for there is more than enough to go around. That's what they mean too. When you heal yourself, you heal the world. When you fill your own cup, then you shine brighter, your healthy energy that then has impact on the environment around you. As above, so below. So many ways of perception to be had, but that's why, like if you get depleted and you're putting out a bunch of negative energy, that's not helping anything, is it? Just saying. Doesn't necessarily come easily or simply, but it's that simple. Like attracts like. What we put out there is what we also attract. So self-awareness and self-acceptance, self-love, and then doing what really lights you up, taking care of yourself. It's big work. It's big responsibility. Being a human's hard. It is way hard. But it's the bag you got, right? So, like look how hard animals work. I'm just saying. And they're all kind of going together, making it work. So we have that responsibility too. All right. We got spearmint, trigger statement, no one's listening to me. The key word is conviction. True statement, my voice is heard. Stand strong and communicate your message. The world is ready to receive what you have to share. Driving it home. Driving it home. Then we got wintergreen. Keyword is trust. Trigger statement, what if something happens? True statement, I take my hands off the wheel. You are not alone. The universe is working with you. Relax and enjoy the adventure. One of the recurring dreams I've had, not lately, but earlier in my life, was that I was in a car and I was speeding along and I was not in control of the speed. And it was this message of stop trying to be a control freak. You're working with the universe. You're not meant to hold the reins so tightly, because a lot of times we're too limited and the universe would like to give us more perhaps. So chew on that. So open your minds, your hearts, your perception, and allow to be redirected perhaps, or allow yourself to be free enough to really put out what's in your heart and soul without fear of judgment, because it's that courage, that bravery that makes those people who like Joan of Arc, St. George, all of those who have boldly gone forth courageously from their heart and soul to put out what's in there, those are who we remember. Those are the great ones. So don't hold yourself back from being one of those great ones. All the love, best wishes, be well holistically in every way possible. I bid you adieu. Have a great portal day, honoring the divine feminine, and I hope it's a good one. I'll see you next time.